Right, welcome to KillieFC TV. Today we're pleased to welcome us to Hampden, Gus MacPherson, one of the all-time top 10 appearances of Kilmarnock, of over 400 games. Gus signed for Kilmarnock 1990 for Dumfleeton, made his debut against Clydebank, and his last competitive game was against Celtic. Gus was a schoolboy internationalist and started his career at Rangers. Can you tell us how that came about, signing for Rangers under the Soonish Revolution?
Well, actually, when I was schoolboy, we were playing football there at the boys' club level as it was then. My father was totally opposed to schoolboy forums, the S forums as they called them in those days. So at that time I was going about quite a few clubs, you know, and training with them, Aberdeen, Rangers as well, going down to England, you know, and then Jock Wallace got the job at Ibrox, and it was really just a straightforward sign or don't bother coming back, and it was in the corridor within the main stand at Ibrox. It was during one of the school holidays that I was in there, and I think those intimidation tactics worked, and then we signed, and I went away out to the car. My dad was sitting in the car outside the main stand. I said, "Have you signed an S form there?" You know, that was him. Never spoke to me for weeks. So that's how it came there, that I signed with Rangers, and then Soonish came in '86, and that was my first professional contract. So it was 5 years, you know, of really what I would consider learning your trade, you know, from '86 to 91. I think you said 1990 I signed for Kilmarnock. I think it was 91. February the 1st, 1991. No, that rings my bell. It was a very special day. So it was 5 years of actually learning your profession. And
they'd be great players to learn the profession from.
Oh, incredible. I mean, that was the revolution, is where it was, and Soonish was bringing in full England internationals, Chris Woods, Terry Butcher, Bray Wilkins, the list was endless. So it was extremely difficult for a young player to break into that first team, but your ears, you know, were wide open, you know, and taking all that information in from the likes of Ray Wilkins, who would spend time with the youngsters and trying to help them, and playing in, you know, reserve games, a lot of testimonial games. That was one of the, that could have been one of my last games for Rangers. Actually, it was a testimonial at Rugby Park for Walter McRae, and it was like some McCoy, Stray Wilkins, I think, were playing in that game as well, and that's maybe where, you know, Kilmarnock saw me as well. That, you know, and then I think it was in that week, maybe 10 days, that I'd signed with Kilmarnock. You know,
right. So who was it came from Kilmarnock? Was it Dumfleeton himself, or was it his?
Jim was there, but I think Tommy Burns was very proactive as well. You know, I think we played a reserve game after that testimonial. I think it was against Hibs at Ibrox. I think Tommy was at the game as well. So, but he would have been working on behalf of Jim. When I went down to Rugby Park to speak to Jim Fleeton and Jim McSherry, very quickly agreed terms, and, you know, were able to. I think we signed in the Friday and was able to play on the Saturday against Clydebank. Right.
Obviously, Jim didn't last very long when you were there. What differences was there when Tommy Burns took over? What kind of manager was he?
They were different. Jim was certainly a lot more reserved and quieter, probably a wee bit more structured in his approach to it in terms of the training and the preparation. Tommy and Billy Stark were passionate, very more, you know, just letting you go and play and trusting you to actually, usually the players, you've got to make the decisions on the park. Probably played at a higher tempo, a greater intensity to the game. But it was just different for whatever reason, just to change at that time. Worked for a couple of other fresh faces that Tommy would bring in as well. George McCluskey came in and was an absolute revelation, you know, and I always said that he was probably one of the best players that we played against, he was coming toward, him and Tommy, coming towards the end of their careers, and what good players they must have been in their heyday, you know, and you think, well, George made a big difference to us in how teams that would come to Rugby Park that would just sit in and make it difficult. George could just make something happen out of nothing, you know, and that was the difference at that point.
You speed.
No, that was the one thing that he never had. I still bump into him to this day when he's taking one of the youth teams at Celtic, you know, and very fond memories of playing with that group, you know, and Tommy and George, you know, and the other ones that were round about there that had been there a few years that really just got a reaction, you know, with those types of players coming in.
There's a lot of great games that I remember you playing Kilmarnock, especially under Tommy, the games at south of the county. Don't like giving them a mention, but I don't have to. Tell us stories about the games against them, especially.
If I can remember right, that was one of Tommy's first games. Was against Ayr United at Rugby Park. Now, I think it would have been the Ayrshire Cup, and he made, I think, 3 or 4 changes right away to the team. I think they won 2-0. My memory's not the best. I mean, 20 odd years ago, but even last week I'm hopeless. But they were just really competitive game. One that springs to mind is a cup tie. It was Scottish Cup and at Rugby Park. And Ayr at that time were going well. I think they fancied their chances. I think they got a bit of coverage, you know, as they tend to do with the Ayrshire derby. But in the end, we won quite comfortably. We you know, real, honest, hard-working players that could, you know, certainly play a wee bit as well. But we were always renowned for our hard work and our work ethic within the group. But you know,
the group of players at that time know how much it meant to the supporters going to the likes of Somerset or them.
If they didn't know, they quickly realised. You know, I think.
I remember Bobby Robinson saying on camera one day, he says, Ayrshire derbies are worse than Old Firm derbies because it's just pure hatred, no sectarianism.
Well, Bobby could vouch for that because he'd played in an Old Firm game. I'd never played in that, so. But that is probably the most competitive game that I've played in, and the one, obviously, that sprang to mind from a negative point of view was when we went down to Somerset, and I keep saying a game that should never have been played because of the state of the pitch, that we lost when we were defending the Scottish Cup. So that's sort of fresh in mind. You know, we tried to forget about that one, but
I wasn't going to mention it.
Matt Roberts tends to remind me of it frequently.
The other game that springs to mind, the last game of the season at Easter Road when we drew nothing each to keep a Premier League status. Do you remember much about that game? Because it was great support.
It was more the build-up of the game and the pressure that was there. Because what we didn't realise, and people probably still, that was the year of reconstruction, when 3 teams were getting relegated. So it was a hell of an achievement to actually stay in the league that year. But to go through to Easter Road, I think we were close to 16,000 that were there, and we knew we just needed a point. Not a lot happened in the game. I think Hibs had probably the best chance, Kevin McAllister, and put it wide. But other than that, it was just the tension of the day. The build-up, we went down to Berwick to stay overnight. Tommy and Billy took us down there just to make sure that we were all together. We understood it. Not that he needed to remind us the importance of it. And then we're going for that, the usual one on the Saturday morning, that long walk, you know, just to clear the heads. And Tommy just didn't know when to stop. I think we walked for about 3-4 miles that morning. But the game, it was really just after it as well, and the relief, just sitting in the day. I think a few of the players, quite a few of the squad were still out in the pitch celebrating, but I was just in the dressing room, just shattered, emotionally shattered, you know, realising how much we'd all put in to that season, you know, to remain in the league, because the Wraith Rovers won promotion the season before, and I think we finished on 10-12 points behind them in second place to go up. So actually to overturn that points total and finish 4th bottom, you know, it was a fantastic achievement.
Tommy unfortunately left that season and Alec came in. Again, was there much difference between Alec and Tommy?
Again, Alec was very attack minded. you know, and liked to play with two strikers, with two out-and-out wingers. Probably a little bit more open, you know, in terms of the football that he wanted to play. He inherited a very, very good group of players. And it was just one of those times that you're looking and thinking, well, we're going to try and play a different type of football here from what we've been used to, you know, and it was an enjoyable time. It was good football, and I think most of the players at that time would say they enjoyed the type of football. He signed Paul Wright, you know, and Paul was a fantastic striker for the club, you know, and just an out-and-out goal scorer. People like Colin McKee didn't quite work for him, but Neil Whitworth as well, and boys coming in from Manchester United. I think if you'd said that to Kilmarnock supporters maybe 5-10 years previous, they wouldn't have believed it. No, you know, and that was how it maybe changed a little bit. But it was good. You were learning as well from a different, you know, approach to games and how the team was to play. So it was enjoyable times. Right.
Unfortunately, again, Tots left and Bobby took over short term, and I don't think he was going to be getting the job full time, but because of good results he got it. Again, was a total change of atmosphere in the dressing room when Bobby took over.
Not really, not really. I think the one that everybody remembers Bobby for was bringing in the young ones, Buck and Bagan, and the impact that the two of them had. Again, similar to the way Alec Totten would play with the two wide players. They just came in and stepped into that, but Bobby knew them because he had been working with them in the reserve squad. I knew Bobby very well, probably a personal friend and still is, but it maybe put me in a little bit of a predicament how close, players all knew I was close to Bobby as well, but I think, you know, the type of players that Bobby brought to the club as well, you know, and trying to put his own mark on it, obviously going and winning the cup, you know, and that
didn't do him any harm, did it?
No, it didn't do him any harm, but I think, you know, you can go back to the group of players that were there at that time, good professionals, you know.
It must have been very surreal on the cup day to see the manager you started with at the start of the season and the other duck out. Would that not really affect?
It was probably more noticeable in the build-up to the game, but as soon as that game takes place, you know, you're completely focused on trying to win the game, which we did, but it was just a quirky little thing. I mean, Falkirk beat Celtic in the semi-final, so you think even at that time, we were playing Dundee United in the semi, Falkirk are playing Celtic, you're probably subconsciously thinking, oh, if we can beat United, we'll get Celtic in front of you. But then it just threw it up that we were playing with the ex-manager. It was probably most relevant for Paul Wright because Alec had brought him to the club and had worked with him for so long at St Johnstone as well, so it was poignant probably to Paul, and he scores the winning goal as well. So
we're going to come back and interview more about the cup another day, but what do you remember about the celebrations after? That must have been surreal when you were in that bus going up to Glenfinnis.
Well, that's the question you get asked most often, not just from Kilmarnock people and journalists when the Scottish Cup comes round, and you know, every year, what's your memories of winning it? And that's what it is. You know, the open top, you know, journey down John Finney Street, where the scenes were quite remarkable. Just how it built up. You know, like we picked the bus up in Fenwick, and then just gradually went through, you know, the town. But the crowds were just getting bigger and bigger. And when you turn at the bottom of John Finney Street, remarkable. You know, just to see those scenes. I've still got the picture in the house, you know, of that open top with, you know, my wife and my daughter at the time, you know, on top of the bus as well. Fantastic scenes. But it was maybe just tainted a little bit, you know, in terms of how the players conducted themselves with, you know, the bonus stuff that people really don't talk about. I think when I look back on it now, it was embarrassing, you know, in the way that the players conducted themselves at that time. But you realise that when you went to management and you look at it from a different perspective, you know, and that.
There's full price to pay to see Carl in a couple.
Yeah, but I think that even when you look back on it as a player, you think we should have conducted ourselves better than what we did. But the actual emotion of first the achievement and actually winning it, and then the emotion that went with it probably supersedes it. But that's the little negative that I've got towards the cup final. Right. Nothing to do with the club, it was completely the players.
Right. A couple of other games always spring to mind. The 3-0 game at Ibrox and the 2-1 game Do you remember them?
I don't remember. My memory's hopeless for games. The 3-0 ones
was Dick Advocat and Chris Cocard scored with training shoes on, if we were led to believe the full
they were special. We always had a decent record against Rangers. Against Celtic it wasn't as good, but against Rangers, for whatever reason, you always fancied the chance. It was just one of those games that at Ibrox, the 3-0 one, you go, everyone just came off for us. You know, every time we went forward, we really looked threatening. Like it's like Gary Holt making forward runs into the box, which was unaccustomed. With Cocard going in there, it was really threatening. It was just an enjoyable experience to go in there. My memory is actually after the game. You know, I don't think I went home till 7 o'clock in the morning. The celebration just stretched on too long. But they were just special times. The 2-1 was done. Rangers hadn't lost a home game for about 18 months.
That's right.
And
Tommy had a screamer from about 2 inches, didn't he?
That's right.
Sorry, Bobby.
Bobby hit one in there. And again, at the time, you probably didn't appreciate what you'd achieved. You know, when you saw the quality that Rangers had at that time. I can only imagine they underestimated us, you know, going there. But I think very, very quickly that group of players earned the total respect, you know, of the league at that time. I heard just a few years back, you know, Willie Miller, who was the Aberdeen manager at the time, talking about that Kilmarnock team and how hard they worked a pressing game, a high tempo, closing the opposition down. And that's what we were renowned for. But we had good players as well. But it was special that you knew you had earned the respect from your fellow players, peers, through your hard work.
Right. Who was the best player you played with at Killie?
I would probably say Ian Duran, because of what he came through. I knew Ian, you know, when he suffered the injury.
Right.
We were both at Rangers at the time. I was just a kid. To see him come back from that injury and the extent of that, to come into Kilmarnock, to a team, as I say, that was really just a hard working, good professional team, he added that quality and changed his game completely, because he was a midfield player who would time his runs into the box before his injury, which is something that you couldn't really coach, but he then became this playmaker, and I think he just took Kilmarnock, you know, from playing a certain style into the way he wanted the team to play as well, you know. So I think at that time he was probably the best player. But again, you could put him up there with your Tommy Burns, right. George McCluskey at that time, the impact that he had coming in. But just at that time, where we were competing, you know, in your top 10, top 3 or 4 in the Premier League at that time, he was able to, you know, put us in that position.
And your hardest opponent?
For me, it was Brian Laudrup. On that side of the park, people then say, that's because, you know, the Rangers side of it, and you go, no, that's because DeCanio was always on the other side of the pitch at that time. Laudrup was a special player. You know, you thought you had him, but he was a strong bugger. His backside would just push that into you, and then his change of pace. You actually thought you would go to the ground and nick the ball at that. It's gone. His change of pace at the time was quite incredible. You know, for one that wasn't.
And your favourite Celtic player, Mr. Larson, I mentioned for him?
Oh no, not at all. I tend to stay away from that.
Still get the scars?
Still get the scars to prove it. But again, as I said to you earlier before we started filming, you look at the quality of players in that generation. Larson goes on to play at Barcelona. Van Bronckhorst for Rangers goes to play at Barcelona. I wonder if we're going to see anything like that happen in recent times now.
Other than the cup win, what would you say was a highlight in your other 10, 11 years at Kilmarnock?
I always talk about, everybody says about the cup, I actually think staying in the SPL in that, you know, Tommy Burns' first full season was a remarkable achievement. When 3 teams were getting relegated, the club are still in the SPL on the back of that, you know, that reconstruction and being able to stay in the SPL. There were some great moments, European trips to south of France with Nice and Kaiserslautern and Germany. You'll never ever forget those, but just for the achievement itself, for that group of players, you know, which...
You've now been a manager for almost 12, 13 years. Managing or playing, what do you prefer?
Oh, playing all day long. Everything that we've taken from the playing from Tommy Burns and Billy Stark is relayed into how we try and put into a team. You know, the work ethic, the team spirit you're trying to build within a group. It all comes from that. Probably just under 2 years that we worked with Tommy and Billy.
Years ago you told me that after a defeat, as a player you used to be up all night on a Saturday night. It must be worse as a manager now.
Well, you're now starting to think about a whole group rather than just thinking about yourself, you know, and now where we are at Queen's Park it's different because we've got to be respectful to players that are amateurs who just play, you know, because they want to come and play a game of football. They could be financially reimbursed quite heavily elsewhere, but they want to play in this environment, so we've got to be respectful. We manage in a completely different way than what we once did, but it's always another part that you're learning, you know, that when you come into, and hopefully if another opportunity comes along, that you go in and you pick up, you know, use what you've learned at this, you know, this fabulous club.
And one last thing, a message for Kilmarnock supporters.
Again, the message is patience. You know, it's been a difficult couple of seasons. You know, financial restrictions within the club as well. It's a very competitive, you know, league that they're in now. It's just patience. There's a lot of young players now getting the opportunity with Gary. And he's getting experience of doing that with the Hearts kids when that was forced upon him at Hearts. He's now trying to put that mark on the Kilmarnock team, and that does take patience because the younger players, there is going to be inconsistency there, but I'm sure, you know, given, you know, time, you know, and putting in maybe a couple more older heads that can help the younger ones in their development as well. It's not too big a gap that they've got to bridge at the moment. It is so tight within the SPL that if you can string 4 or 5 wins together, you'll be in the top 6. And that's how competitive the SPL is at the moment. So the key word is patience.
Gus, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Cheers.